Well, what we certainly saw from Liverpool last night, Hayley, was a number of mistakes. We saw them work good attacking positions. In fact, the tone was set early on in the game with working those good attacking positions, yet almost straight away from that, Galatasaray were able to get in behind Szoboszlai, Yilmaz, I think it was, and causing Liverpool problems. And we look at the fact that there were 4 changes made to that starting lineup, a change as well for Jeremy Frimpong playing on the right wing in the more Mo Salah role, if you like, Szoboszlai at right back, Curtis Jones coming back into the midfield, and Hugo Ekitike starting up front. Now, Arne Slot has often made the point that one of their great strengths last season was continuity of selection, but it was also one of the weaknesses towards the back end of the season as well, as they were kind of running on empty in many respects, given the workload that they'd had throughout the season. So he feels this season he needs to rotate that a little bit more, and that's obviously what he tried to do last night. But I mentioned the fact that mistakes had crept in. When Liverpool coughed up possession, they certainly found themselves too open at times, and it was far too easy for Galatasaray to create opportunities in that respect as well. So we put it to Arne Slot in that post-match news conference as to whether changes are really the big reason behind those mistakes that we saw from Liverpool last night, and this is what Arne Slot had to say in response.
What you see is, and I think I've explained this many times, that there are a few players from us that missed pre-season, so you simply cannot play them every single game. Yeah, you can, but then that could become a risk of players getting injured. We see this more and more because the demands go up more and more, and if the demands go up, you have to prepare players for these demands. And so yeah, that means that it's not always that I want to rotate, but sometimes I just need to, because a player is not ready to play 3 times 90 minutes in 7 or 8 days.
And Vinny, look, to make matters worse for Slot, there are injury concerns, aren't there, for a couple of his key players?
That's right, Hayley. It made a disappointing night even more so because there were those injuries to Ekitike and to Alisson as well. Ekitike went down in about the 68th minute. He was just overstretching, trying to retrieve possession of ball behind him, and you almost knew immediately, I think, that he was going to have to come off. And it seemed quite hopeful at full time as to whether Ekitike is not going to suffer any long-term damage in that respect, not spend too much time on the sidelines, although there was that caveat to that the adrenaline's still pumping after a game, and when you're walking around, it's a little bit different to sprinting. There was more concern over Alisson, the injury he picked up, though. It seemed quite innocuous at the time, made a save, but then he signalled pretty quickly to the bench that he couldn't continue, had a little bit of treatment on the pitch, and then had to go off. And so, again, we asked Arne Slot what the situation would be and how likely he is to play against Chelsea at the weekend. And this is what Arne Slot had to say.
With my players on the floor, I 9 out of 10 times fear the worst. And with the worst, I mean that he cannot continue. And that's what happened with Alisson. So yeah, then normally he will not be able to play Saturday. That's 99.9%. I've already said 100%, but let's make it 99.9. But I think it's 100.
Can I just check on Hugo Ekitike as well? It looked like he seemed to pull something when he stretched.
Yeah. He felt something. He said he couldn't continue, so we had to take him off. Let's see how he is for the weekend.
So big injury concerns ahead of that game against Chelsea. The positive for Liverpool, of course, is that they are still 3 points clear at the top of the Premier League. But for that to remain intact, or to even to build on that, performances need to improve from what we've seen against Crystal Palace and against Galatasaray last night.